Imagine a world where people are unable to afford the therapies they so desperately need because life-saving medications are too expensive. Consider this: what if these exponentially rising drug prices are the result of a well-planned program to maximize their profits at the expense of the sick and weak? Welcome to the disturbing truth about the price gouging strategy of the pharmaceutical industry. This video explores the contentious practice that has caused worldwide controversy, looking at how it affects patients and healthcare systems, as well as the pressing need for justice and transparency in drug pricing. The term price gouging scheme encompasses the controversial practice employed by drug manufacturers whereby they unjustifiably increase the prices of their products to exorbitant and unreasonable levels. This practice has sparked significant public outcry and condemnation due to its adverse impact on patients, medical institutions, and society at large. A key factor contributing to this issue is the deregulation of drug prices, which allows pharmaceutical companies to raise prices above the rate of inflation. Even in cases where demand for certain drugs is low, these companies continue to exploit their pricing power to maximize their profits. This unchecked ability to increase prices has created a concerning trend, enabling pharmaceutical companies to bolster their income despite the questionable need for such price hikes. Disturbingly, projections indicate that prescription medicine sales are expected to reach a staggering $1.18 trillion by 2024. This projection underscores the significant financial gains pharmaceutical companies anticipate, further emphasizing the urgency to address the price gouging scheme prevalent within the industry. The reasons for the rise in medicine prices can vary, but they frequently have to do with pharmaceutical corporations' efforts to increase profits. Supporters contend that the high prices are required to cover costs associated with manufacturing, future advancements, and research and development. However, detractors claim that the price increase frequently go beyond what is deemed acceptable and justifiable, making many patients unable to afford their drugs. Drug corporations have the freedom to set prices and may do so unhindered, so concerns about low demand are lower on their list of priorities. When setting drug prices, pharmaceutical companies consider a variety of things, and one of them is the drug's uniqueness. It is critical to consider the drug's uniqueness, or how many alternative drugs are currently available for the same ailment. New medications for the same ailment will probably cost less if the market is already oversupplied with medications to address the condition. Another element that impacts pricing is competition. The success and appeal of the drug's rivals must be taken into account by pharmaceutical corporations, who must also decide whether new drugs provide any advantages over them. Increased advantages result in increased costs. Also, drug makers must take into account whether new medications have the potential to alter how the disorders they are intended to treat are already treated. Pharmaceutical companies must also take into account if their products can reduce the need for certain medical procedures, operations, or other procedures. Because of the cost saving they provide patients in the long run, drugs that can reduce the number of pricey procedures, hospital stays, and doctor visits are frequently more expensive. Drug manufacturers also charge more for medicines that can prolong or even save lives. The goal of pharmaceutical firms when setting drug prices is ultimately to maximize profits. This frequently entails dealing with competition, which lowers prices. However, drug corporations have struck a compromise between underpricing drugs and their capacity to implement price hikes at regular intervals. There is also an assumption that high research and development (R&D) expenses justify exorbitant drug prices has long prevailed. However, this widely held idea has been destroyed by an eye-opening investigation done by Wouters and with his other colleagues at the University of California, San Diego. Published in JAMA Network Open on September 26, 2022, their groundbreaking research analyzed 60 new drugs, and it was approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration during 2009 and 2018. What did they find? We will find the answers. But before that, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. The researchers meticulously examined the correlation between R&D spending and drug pricing, only to come face to face with an unexpected revelation. There was absolutely no connection between the amount of money pharmaceutical companies invested in R&D and the price they set for their newly developed medications. In other words, the assumption that exorbitant drug prices are a necessary evil to offset R&D costs was proven entirely unfounded. Not stopping there, the authors delved deeper, questioning whether a drug's medicinal value influenced its price. Surprisingly, they uncovered yet another astonishing truth. There is no discernible link between the therapeutic benefits of a drug offered and its price tag. It was as if the scales of pricing and value were uncoupled, defying conventional wisdom. Let's talk about some statistics. According to Congressional Budget Office's data, the pharmaceutical industry allocated a staggering $83 billion towards research and development (R&D) in 2019. Bringing a single new product to market is estimated to cost companies between $1 billion and $3 billion on average. In terms of revenue, the U.S. drug market alone generated over $490 billion in 2019, representing almost half of the global pharmaceutical market, as reported by Statista, a prominent database company. When it comes to per capita spending on prescription drugs, Americans surpass citizens of any other country. In 2019, the average expenditure per person exceeded $1,200. A comprehensive study conducted by the Rand Corporation in 2021 revealed that U.S. drug prices were a staggering 2.56 times higher than those in 32 comparable countries. These figures highlight the significant financial investment made by the pharmaceutical industry in R&D, the substantial revenue generated by the U.S. drug market, and the substantial burden shouldered by American consumers in terms of prescription drug costs. It emphasizes the need for a critical examination of pricing practices and the pursuit of affordable access to medication for all. Here comes the biggest question. Are pharmaceutical firms truly only interested in making money, or do they also want to keep patients unwell so they can continue to sell them medicine? Imagine a scenario where a company has developed a revolutionary drug capable of curing a rare disease in over 90% of patients with just a single dose. However, the response from investors takes an unexpected turn. They express their enthusiasm for the drug's effectiveness, but express concern over its potential to generate sustainable profits. The suggestion arises: could the company intentionally make the drug slightly less effective to ensure patients require ongoing doses, thereby maximizing revenue? Despite the suggestion, if the company firmly refuses to compromise the drug's efficacy, the investors propose an alternative approach. They recommend pricing the drug at an exorbitant level, suggesting a staggering $1 million for a full course of treatment given its remarkable curative properties. One might assume that the patients grappling with rare diseases would be the ones most adversely affected by such exorbitant pricing. However, the reality is quite different. To cover the astronomical costs associated with treating even a small number of individuals, payers, entities responsible for financing healthcare, drastically reduce their expenditures in other therapeutic areas. These cost-cutting measures have a far-reaching impact, affecting millions of people. For instance, instead of approving the use of the best available treatment for diabetes at a cost of $1,500, payers may opt for a subpar treatment priced at a mere $75. Unfortunately, physicians often struggle to challenge these decisions made by payers, leaving the majority of patients to settle for second-rate treatment. Surprisingly, it is not cancer or rare disease patients who suffer the most in this pricing practice. Instead, the ones typically bearing the brunt of the consequences are those who do not have cancer or rare diseases. In essence, nearly everyone else loses when pharmaceutical companies price novel drugs at extreme levels. What will happen to healthcare next? We have always understood that prolonging life is expensive. Now, it appears that treating patients isn't making enough money. So, it appears that if someone desires to earn money, just create pharmaceuticals that do not treat anything, but rather encourage long-term usage, dependency, and shortening of life. It will be adored by bankers and payers. The pharmaceutical corporations that have produced new drugs with exorbitant prices have received a lot of attention from the American news media. As a result of new ownership and dramatic price increases, previously released medications have also received more attention. The Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 includes measures for the first time to help cut expenses and bargain the price of prescription pharmaceuticals for persons on Medicare. This will begin with 10 high-cost pharmaceuticals in 2026 and will grow to 20 high-cost drugs by 2029. Companies that fail to deal with Medicare face a 95% tax penalty. And that's a wrap. We hope this video has shed light on the concerning practice of inflated drug prices and its impact on patients and healthcare systems. Thanks for watching.